I've worked in news now for a long time outside the American mainstream media, so it has been my privilege to spend hours and hours every day for over a decade learning about what's going on from a global perspective, not just what the American MSM is feeding people. And one of my favorite parts of the job is that I often stumble across these little tiny stories that get overlooked, but which fill out the story tremendously, thus giving me a more complete picture of what's really going on. Like this little story. So this week, the Democrats began their push for impeaching Trump, right, over his dealing with Ukraine. Even though the Democratic quote-unquote frontrunner Joe Biden has his own incredibly shady dealings with Ukraine. So all the stories this week were about Trump and Ukraine or Biden and Ukraine. This is what everyone in the mainstream media focused on, depending on what side of the aisle they prefer in the swamp. But here I am over here just doing my job of reading all sorts of other stories around the globe that don't get reported. And I came across another little gem that completely relates to the Ukraine stories, and yet no one in the media cared enough to actually report it. I'm talking about the fact that Tony Podesta, brother of John Podesta, who was Bill Clinton's chief of staff, a counselor to Obama and Hillary Clinton's campaign chair, a man with deep Democratic ties, in other words, was just let off the hook for violating foreign lobbying laws for work he did on behalf of, wait for it, Ukrainian interests. Yeah, that's right. Podesta's lobbying firm actually worked with Paul Manafort, a man tossed into jail for his own Ukrainian dealings. And they were paid by a think tank controlled by the Ukrainian president. At the same time, they had dealings with their own politics. And they never registered as foreign agents or anything, which is totally against the law and a conflict of interest and all that. But guess what? The DOJ quietly handed the case over to the Southern District of New York, where Podesta and his cronies just cut a deal and got off scot-free. They are no longer under investigation over foreign lobbying, even though at the same freaking time their own party is trying to impeach Trump for his dirty dealings in the Ukraine. How freaking dirty and twisted is this? The hypocrisy is ridiculous, and it goes much deeper than what the mainstream media tells you. There are a million quiet little stories out there like this that I could tell you, but unfortunately, they're all stories the MSM will try their best to bury.